everyone is trying to, put away the truth about what happened with the Las Vegas massacre. At the time, it was one of the largest massacres in American history, if not the largest. And everyone's saying Stephen Paddock. What's the motive? Well, anyone who's tried to deter casinos being built in their areas on native lands knows exactly what Stephen Paddock's motive is. It was rare, his motive was a rare motive, but it wasn't uncommon at all. 59 people lost their lives as compulsive gambler Stephen Paddock opened fire. Now, what Stephen Paddock did was not unusual. The way he did it was unusual. The amount of suicides among people when a casino opens up is large, and they're often never ever tied to the casino. Let's say a casino opens up in an area, some guy, maybe comes into the casino once, he starts playing, starts losing more money, becomes an addict. He starts going to the casino more, spending more, or a woman, they go to the casino, they blow all their money at the casino, and then they go home, they're depressed, all these depression issues start to happen, families destroyed, and often what happens is it's tied to their gambling addiction. But it's never related to gambling, it's never put on statistics as part of the casino. You see, a lot of times people just have gambling problems. They keep going to the casino because they're addicted. They have a dopamine high in their head from the gambling addiction that they have. You see, and they're not able to stop. They keep throwing away their money, thinking that next push of the button, that next hand's going to be the big win-off. And that dopamine builds in their head. They become addicts for that dopamine high more and more. And that's what happened to Stephen Paddock through the years. You see, as he kept on losing more money, he kept on getting that dopamine high from being in the casino, getting that his particular one was poker slots. And that dopamine high he got, that one next one could be the jackpot, the one next one, millions of times pressing that button, millions of times losing, and finally he just went berserk. And what he did was not unusual. The way he did it was unusual. Because usually what happens with the Stephen Paddock type of individuals is they usually go home and kill themselves silently, and no one ever hears about, ties to the casino. If Stephen Paddock was just one of the many thousands of people each year, hundreds of thousands of people each year that have the gambling problem, usually they go home, they stew about things, and they're broke because they lost all their money at the casino, and they go home and they kill themselves, or they cause their family trouble and they kill themselves, and then that suicide is just tied to, this guy had problems and things. They never tie it to the fact that there's the gambling addiction. The gambling addiction's never tied to that. It's never reflected on the casino. But the unique thing about Stephen Paddock was he didn't internally take his depression from his gambling addiction. He externally blew a whole 59 innocent people away because of it. The casino slot machines are directly responsible for this. Aristocrat, IGT, these things that build up chemical imbalances, chemical highs, dependencies on dopamine in your head are what caused Stephen Paddock to kill people. And how many more Stephen Paddocks are there going to be? Because, there's been tons of more Stephen Paddocks since that's happened, but they haven't acted externally, thank goodness, but they've acted internally. They've gone home, they killed themselves, and no one ever ties it to the gambling problem. You see, the thing about the casinos and why you don't hear about a lot of these problems is because the same people who are paid to report these problems to supposedly help, quote unquote, gambling recovery groups and things, they're paid for by the casinos themselves. The casinos pay them. They don't. That's a conflict of interest right there. The casinos pay the people who run these so-called help services, and they give them false statistics. Casinos are evil places, people, and the motive is very clear with Stephen Paddock. He had no criminal history. He had nothing to do with violence ever. This was a man who years and years and years had brain damage through the dopamine highs in his head. You cannot continue to continue to play these slot machines, these video pokers, and create this artificial dopamine high in your head over time, and then just expect to be a normal person. No. he got his next dopamine high by being a mass shooter. You see, this stuff is going to continue to happen with long as casinos are being built in places. This is a problem people are not addressing, and I guarantee you it's going to continue to happen externally, and I don't want to see that. I want to see all casinos shut down. If I had my way, no casino would ever be able to operate again, and all these YouTubers who are uploading videos encouraging young kids to watch these gambling videos and become addicts themselves, you're just going to see more Stephen Paddocks in the future. Don't you know that? You're responsible for this stuff, casinos. You're responsible for this AdSense YouTube by enabling people, because it's all about money. The casinos all know this. The casinos see, because people who work at the casinos and see the casinos, they saw people like Stephen Paddock come in time and time again, lose thousands of dollars, and walk out heartbroken every day. And they just hope, oh, I hope this guy goes home and kills himself over this instead of coming back and hurting us. But that's what usually, all the suicides in an area, all the families destroyed, all the crimes that are committed because a casino is plopped up in the middle of a neighborhood town. You know, Stephen Paddock, he has to take responsibility. God's going to judge him however he's going to judge him. But let me tell you, to say that the casino's blood's not on their hands for this, and it's not going to happen more and more often if we don't do something about shutting these satanic places down, it's going to keep happening, okay? That's Stephen Paddock's motive. That's exactly what happened, and that's the truth.